Okay. Good morning, everyone. I guess I should probably turn a light on. Hold on one moment. All right. Now it's better. And yes, I'm still in my PJs. Um, so good morning. Hello again. My name is John. This is Passages in Pranayama, and just a little part of what I do on this channel. That's Roshi. Um, so I've been working my way through the Samkhya Karika by the sage Kapila, one of the six orthodox schools of Indian philosophical thought. And we're up to number 20. No, excuse me, 19. Right? We're on 19. And it goes like this. And from that contrast, it follows that spirit is endowed with the characteristics of witnessing, isolation, inference, perception, and inactivity. All right, so this is like going off of what we learned last week. Right? Go back to 18. We look at some of the qualities of, how Samkhya is broken down is we have Purusha, we have Prakriti on one side, nature, material nature, like how things are kind of like unfolding in front of us. We have those three gunas, the attributes of tamas, rajas, and sattva, right? Tamas is like inert and heavy, and rajas is dynamic and passionate, and sattva is harmonious and balanced and luminous. So, um, so there's like this activity that's going on in nature that allows let's just say the cosmos, right? We use the word cosmos to keep its wheels turning, right? And the ebb and flow of life and let's say dynamism and entropy to continue. So in this in 19, we're looking at some of the qualities of the spirit. So if we go back again to last week, we had the talk was largely about how nature was, how the knower, right, that observer that I referred to as the knower, right, in Samkhya Karika it's called the knower. Sometimes it's translated as the observer, one who kind of like witnesses all the things that are happening, within oneself or like within nature. Now, there is, kind of like an extension of that, and that is the Purusha, the spirit. Right? And in the spirit, we have these like other qualities. So the knower can kind of witness our own behaviors and tell us how, what, well, hopefully we are awake enough. This is kind of the um, this is where wakefulness can really come into play here because, if the knower is not witnessing and certainly not communicating to the part of us that is kind of more embedded in material nature, right? And I say this because we have, two primary aspects of material nature, the buddhi and the ahamkara, right? That is the higher intelligence, the buddhi, or the awakened intelligence. And then we have the ahamkara, the ego, right? And if the knower, right, the the knower has the ability to communicate what it witnesses, what it observes, with frankness and honesty, then with that communication to the buddhi and the ahamkara allows for behavioral change. It takes, intense mental clarity to get to that point, of course. Now, the spirit, though, the spirit is somewhat separate from the knower. And again, we get into like these qualities. I think one of the most interesting parts of this. So let's look at the qualities of the spirit first. The ability to witness, so much like the nya. Isolation, right? The characteristic of isolation. I love this, and I want you to let's keep it simple. I want you to think about it like meditation, right? And the ability to kind of sit comfortably with oneself. Indifference, right? The ability to fully realize that nature is going to play its course, right? So let's look at this is like from a very kind of grandiose view. Again, nature, Prakriti is going to play out, right? Karmically, it's going to play out how it's going to play out. Having, I wouldn't say the ability necessarily, again, it's a characteristic of the spirit to allow that to happen, right? To witness it and hey, that's what it is. The Nya, on the other hand, as it sees, the karmic effects of the cosmos play out, can, well, not necessarily the knower, but the lower reality, Prakriti, and how we're involved in it. A lot of times we become entangled in those karmic actions, and there's a level of suffering that might come along with it. Okay, so indifference, perception, right? The ability to kind of perceive, right, what's happening, and it isn't on this gross level, but on a quite subtle level. An understanding that nature is going to play out how it plays out, right? And again, with our this higher reality that we're dealing with the knower and the spirit, it perceives it, and again, and it remains indifferent to it. And inactivity, inactivity, the um, um, ability that doesn't make sense, but the ability to remain quiet and sit back and not interfering, right? The spirit can't interfere with, especially the lower reality, that's for sure. But again, there's that quietness that we might experience again in isolation. Reminds me of Wu Wei, right, in Taoism. Wu Wei, this wonderful art of inactivity. Okay. And when we think about the lower reality too, again, we're looking at this higher reality here, these higher realms of Purusha. But, if we're able to bring that quality into Prakriti, right, into our daily kind of interactions with one another, inactivity can be, as with all of these characteristics, can be incredibly beneficial. Okay, now I think one of the big distinctions here is, let's see here in the notes. Um, yeah, so they are one of these characteristics are different than nature, right? As I previously described, nature itself is going to be active, right? It's going to be active, and so so yes, Prakriti and Purusha. There's some opposition going on here, right? Because we have Prakriti playing out its karmic cycle, right? It's active, while Purusha, on the other hand, is inactive. Nature doesn't have an ability to perceive, while Ya and spirit, Purusha, have this ability, this characteristic to perceive. Um, isolation, right? Isolation is another one where nature itself is entangled into one another's actions, while the Purusha is isolated, right? It is unaffected by nature's dealings. All right. Okay, so well, let's. I think this is a great description of some of those characteristics of Purusha. And now let's just sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes. I want you to set your hands on your belly, one hand over the other, just below the navel. Well, the only thing we're going to do today is 3 deep breaths. Let's make it 5 deep breaths into our belly. So belly breathing into the hands, and imagine that prana chi moving into the belly, right where your hands are, right below the navel. So let's sit up tall, ears, shoulders, hips aligned. Let's just take one inhale and exhale. Now, with control, let's take a deep inhale all the way down to the belly into those hands. Exhale. A little activity in the belly, draw the navel back. Inhale, pushing the navel forward into the hands. Breathe into those hands and exhale. 3 more like that. Last one. Good. Loosen control of your breath. Stay focused on your breath just for the next few moments. Let's exhale. Deep inhale, shoulders rise. And out through your mouth, exhale. Again, those shoulders, they move back and down. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you committing a little bit of time to this. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, always feel free to comment. If you have any questions, of course, comment those questions into me. I would love to hear them. Everybody have a great day today. Take care of yourself and others. Peace.